Hey guys, it's Tim from the Hybrid Network, and welcome to a new episode of Spotlight, the show where I pose an interesting question or just a general interesting topic, and then have you guys take it from there in the comments. So, the topic today I feel is somewhat both complex and simple at the same time, and it's something that gets brought up over and over again. How much can be changed when adapting something into a new media, whether it be TV shows, video games, or what's most commonly spoken about, movies? The way I look at it, you can approach this from three distinct angles. The first of which being that because comic books are such a niche medium that studios feel that they have to change a lot in order to appeal to the people that comics were not appealing to before. Which is fair and it makes sense when you're going into something trying to get the highest amount of audience you possibly can. However, on the flip side of that, you also have to remember that the reason why you're even able to adapt this to begin with and why there's even any appeal to this title is because of where it came from and the audience it already had. You wouldn't have quite the marketability of something like Spider-Man or the X-Men if they didn't have the pre-established fan base beforehand that made it popular enough to make the license really stand out to them and really appeal to them to begin with to try to use to make money. And the third angle I think that we should look at it from is how people react to adapting non comic book material and how people respond to changes in that. For example, when adapting a book, people tend to look further down upon an adaptation if it is too different from the book, feeling that it is not respecting the source material. There are exceptions to this over time, and you can find examples for it, but generally that's how people look at it. So, when you look at it that way, it generally denotes a lack of respect for comic books as a medium when people feel that it is okay and in even cases better to change things in that particular medium, but not in other mediums, finding those same things to be disrespectful. Now, obviously, when you're adapting something, you're going to have to change things, because not everything in one medium is going to work for another medium. For example, when you're reading a book, books, whether you realize it or not, always have a narrator telling you stuff that you wouldn't know otherwise through character interactions because they're trying to make the interactions seem as natural as possible, and you generally don't exposit all that much to people when you're talking to them. So, when you're turning a book into a movie, you have to try to figure out a way to get that same information across without necessarily having to rely upon a narrator, which is oftentimes frowned upon by audiences as the creator being lazy, trying to just tell the audience things, when in actuality they're really doing the same thing as the initial medium. It's just not looked upon in the same favorable light in this medium because it's more obvious. So, obviously, things have to change when you're adapting them, but the thing I'm trying to get at more here is arbitrary changes. Things that are not required to be changed, but people still feel that they need to change for one reason or another. So, when you're adapting something, in this particular case in comic books, how much is it okay to change? How much do you want things to change? And how much do you feel is right to change? Well, that's what I'm asking you guys in the comments. But until next time, this has been Tim from the Hybrid Network, signing off.